Hey everyone, GM Admiral here with a very special video. I promised you all that I was going to go over how to upgrade your pre-con decks for the OverPower card game from the Edgar Rice Burroughs set. So this is The Resistance, a awesome starter pack. And you know what? You can actually play this deck right out of the box and have a really good time with it. That said, I think that there are some little things that you can do to tweak this and actually like take it to the next level. So this deck comes with Three Musketeers, Zorro, John Carter, and Billy the Kid. It is mostly a combat themed deck, and it focuses a lot on speed and defense. So straight away, and I'm going to tell you this in all my videos, I'm going to do one for each of the 4 starter decks that came out for Edgar Rice Burroughs. Straight away, I'm going to recommend taking out all of the basic universe cards and the universe training cards. Okay, here's why. Oftentimes, when you use these cards, it creates a card disadvantage for you. And OverPower is very much a card game about card advantage. So if I need to use this along with an energy power card to attack, or to block, that's 2 cards that I'm getting rid of just to defend myself against 1 card. And that's typically something that you want to try to avoid. So luckily, if you start going to your local game shop and running game days or learn to plays or tournaments, Lazarus Rising now has prize packs. And in the prize packs, there are a couple of locations that can help you really take advantage of these 2 type of universe cards. So don't throw them away. Don't get rid of them. I would just recommend not putting them in the main deck and getting them out of there. That said, I do believe this deck comes with an ally card in it, Alan Quartermain. It requires a 5 or less energy to use, and it acts as a 3 energy attack, which is great for these folks because they've got relatively low energies, but also teammate must play 1 special card. So if Zorro makes this attack, either John Carter or Three Musketeers must play a special card. It's not a may ability, it's a must. If you can't play a special card with anyone else, this card can't be played. But this deck tends to have some pretty powerful specials, so you're going to want to keep that in here. So absolutely make that the first card in the deck. Let's look at the power pack. I actually was really impressed with the power pack here. There might be a couple of tweaks that I would make, but not a ton. So 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of people say only run 2 4s, 2 3s, 2 2s, and 1 1. I do prefer running 3 3s and 3 4s personally. I think 2 1s is probably a little bit much. I think you could cut that down to 1. So you could probably take this 1 brute force out of the deck. Again, remember, there's not a ton of energy in here. The other big thing that you want to be looking for is your multi-power cards. So multi-power cards are essentially wild cards, but once they hit, they act as whatever power type you want. They're very important to the game. And they are much better than single power card hits. So I would probably take out the 1 3 intellect and 1 4 brute force and replace them with these multi-power cards. I think that would up your game quite a bit because it increases the pressure that you put on a character as far as KOing them goes. So that is a big recommendation right there. Next, when we look at our 5, 6, 7, and 8s, this does come with 2 5 strengths and a 5 intelligence, which is awesome. Everybody on the team can use the 5 intelligence, and 2 of your front line can use the 5 strengths. You come with 3 8 combats, 3 7 combats, and 3 6 combats. So, I mean, you could, in theory, trade out a 6 combat for a 6 brute force if you wanted to, but because John Carter is the only person that has that, I wouldn't recommend it. There is also, don't forget, a 5 multi-power card. They use Cthulhu was a promo with the 5 multi-power, and I would recommend possibly replacing maybe one of the 5 brute forces with the 5 multi-power. if you can. It's got Tarzan on it, if I remember correctly. So anyways, pretty good power pack. I would just take out the one and add your multi-power cards, and your power pack is basically good as is. So let's look at our characters individually and the specials that come with them. Three Musketeers, they may not be Spectrum or Cumulative KO'd with Teamwork cards. That's a pretty fun little inherent there that they have. They do come with this 5 any power that acts as an attack or a defense. And it gets +1 for each mission card in the Three Musketeers defeated mission pile. Well, hopefully you don't have many there. Maybe, this is the important part, may be used to attack or defend Three Musketeers or teammate. Okay, so this card essentially is, it's like a power card defense, but you can block for other teammates, which is really, really important, especially with this deck. Very good card. We have Athos. It's a 7 combat attack. If successful, target character is KO'd by the next level 1 power card hit, regardless of inherent abilities or special cards. Getting those 7s out there is really, really important. It is combat, just like what they normally would have. And then this card, I think, is top notch. A 5 intelligence that the Three Musketeers may play 1 additional special card. You remember I said a little bit earlier that this deck likes to focus on speed. So you could attack with this card and then follow it up by attacking with a 7, which is pretty scary if you're the defender. It did only come with 3 specials for Three Musketeers. There are several other specials that the Three Musketeers have that I think are worth looking at. All right. This is a 6 brute force. I like it because it's kind of offsuit a little bit, and it cannot be blocked by a card with an intelligence icon. That's a lot of venture that you're putting on the board. And if you see they have an intelligence card placed that they would be defending with, they can't defend that. So that's a consideration. This is another consideration. I don't know if it's the best. I haven't actually sat down and played it. I do like that you get to search through your draw pile or dead pile for any one teamwork and put it in your hand. And then for the remainder of the game, the Three Musketeers may place and play any teamwork card, regardless of grid requirement, and make 1 or both follow-up attacks. So basically, they're just making teamworks by themselves. I haven't seen that card in play yet, but it might be a cool idea, especially because we're going to be adding some teamwork cards to this deck when all is said and done. We also have the 8 multi-power D'Artagnan attack. I definitely think you need to get that in here. So options, this is a lot of venture. If you aren't playing heavy teamworks, you could always run a second of this 5 intelligence or a second of the 5 any power defense, depending on what path you want to go. But certainly at least you're going to want to get one of these 6 brute forces and one of these 8 intelligences in, and then you've got a huge lineup of powerful attacks that Three Musketeers can send. So that would be my recommendation. Porthos, or D'Artagnan, and either another Aramis or an all-for-one to add to his specials. I like running 6 specials per frontline character whenever possible. I know some people like to run less and go a little bit more slim than that. But that's just me personally. So, Three Musketeers. Great. This one was intriguing for me. John Carter is a cool character. He can include level 8 brute force cards. Of course, this is a combat deck, so he probably won't be doing that. But he has some really great specials. Like, for example, this is just an 8 any power attack. 8s are really hard to defend in this game right now. They're big attacks, and they're tough to block. And even though it doesn't have an icon associated with it, at least an energy type, it's still 8 venture that's going on the board and 8 towards that cumulative KO. John Carter may not be attacked by a card with a combat or brute force icon for the remainder of battle. So this is defense, remainder of battle, it stays attached to him. So what's great about this, if somebody with a brute force icon attacks John Carter, you play this, it negates that attack, and then he can't be attacked for the remainder of game. I like that. This is a fun one. Remove all hits from John Carter's current battle and or permanent record. All removed hits count towards venture total this battle. So you can't clean your venture, but you can clean your record. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this card. I think it's very situational. If people are sending a lot of attacks at John Carter, I'd rather use his superhuman endurance. I would actually take this card out. And here's why. John Carter is one of the only characters in the entire Edgar Rice Burroughs set that has a teammate may avoid one attack card. So this is a great special to have because you can completely avoid any attack that's coming in. It doesn't just have to be numerical. So if someone's sending the dreaded Grim Reaper at you, this allows you to avoid it. So what would I do to bring John Carter up to 6 specials? Well, the first thing, I would get his 8 multi-power card in here as well. So that would give you John Carter with an 8 multi, 3 Musketeers with an 8 multi, and John Carter with these 8 any power cards. I'd probably go up to a second teammate may avoid one attack. Some people might go up to 3 of those. I think 2 will be plenty. And that's only 5 cards, so I would fill in with these 8 any powers because it is not a 1 per deck. So you've got 1, 2, 3 8s that John Carter can throw. That is pretty scary. You can also, just include a 3rd if you wanted to. But what I find is that when John Carter's on the board, he gets attacked a lot. Okay, so you could even cut one of these any powers to do his personal avoid again, because that's not a 1 per deck. And if you find he's getting attacked a lot, go down to 1 of each of his 8s, and then get a couple of those may avoid an attack with a combat or brute force icon. So that's the way I would go with John Carter. Cool. Now let's look at Zorro, our 8 combat character. I love Zorro so much. He feels so thematic in this game. They did a really nice job with him. So what specials are included? Well, first, I think one of the best specials in the set is this Riposte, which is a 5 half multi. That's really important, this half multi, and neither one of those are combat. So if this lands on an attack, it's going to put a lot of KO pressure on your opponent. It acts as level 5 brute force or intelligent multi-power attack, may be used to attack or defend Zorro or teammate, and it may be combined with universe cards. So that's pretty awesome as well. But the key here is that it can defend a teammate as well. So that blocks like the first incoming attack from teamwork if someone's sending them at you. Master Escape. Play during battle. Each player may have only 1 mission card ventured this battle. Move all other mission cards back to the piles ventured from. I'll be honest, I don't like these type of cards. The mission manipulation has never really worked for me. This is a dead card 90% of the time when you draw it. So I don't love it. So this would probably be a cut that I would make. And just another 7 combat, right? The 7s and 8s at the front line of this deck can throw is just very, very scary for a defender. This is a hilarious card. I still don't know if it's worth it. I haven't seen it go off yet. It acts a level 2 combat, may make 2 additional combat attacks. So it's very specifically have to be combat attacks against the same character. If any of the 3 attacks are successful and the target has 15 or more damage, the character is KO'd regardless of any events, inherent abilities, special cards in play. So very thematic to Zorro, doing the Z. I'm not sure that it's something that can be easily pulled off. So if you want to keep it in for flavor and for fun, just go right ahead and do that. I think that would be definitely acceptable. Otherwise, I would make some additions to Zorro. I would bring in his 7 intelligence uncommon. If successful, Zorro may move any 1 non-ventured mission card to the completed mission pile. It's so good. He also has this 4 combat. If successful, he may look at the top 5 cards of opponent's draw pile and discard 1 of them. So that's really, really good, especially if you decide that you're going to use Baker Street as a home base. That is 5 special cards right there. I would probably run a second or even a third of this 5 half multi. I would probably consider cutting the 2 combat and just running 3 of these because I think this card is that good. Again, you do your play style. If you prefer to be to have fun and do silly things, absolutely keep the quick 3 strokes in. but I think I would rather have another one of those 5 half multis. All right, Zorro. Now, this was a fun one. So Billy the Kid, I think, is a spectacular reserve character because he may play numerical special cards from reserve. What I thought was interesting was that he has 2 cards in the deck. One of them is not numerical. It's Regulators, which is a very good card. However, he can't play it from reserve, and you really want characters to be active from reserve. So his other card, though, is a 5 half multi, which being a 5 is awesome. A half multi is even scarier. If this attack KOs a character, Billy may immediately move any one of his team's unventured mission cards to the completed missions pile. So he's looking to snipe people off and move mission cards for doing it. So he can attack with this from reserve. That means that you get to use his placement slot. Regulators, I'd probably get rid of it. I don't think it's necessary with Billy the Kid in reserve. You could consider playing his 4 combat, which is if someone attacks him, he can play this and attack back first. It's a fun card. You're not going to get a ton of attacks at in the reserve, and it's a combat icon, which is kind of in this deck because there's so many combat icons. So you could consider running that if you like. Again, it's a fun card, but personally, I think that this 5 half multi with the potential of moving missions is so powerful. I might run 2 or 3 of them. I don't know if that's the correct way because I'm not a goat. I've only been playing for about 6 months, but I think I might run 3 of these and just make sure that I get them off every single turn because a 5 half multi is almost a must block, and combining with things like this, it starts to add up very, very quickly, the different colors that you're putting on a character. So that's what I would kind of consider there. Take out the Regulators, get a couple more of his I'll Make You Famous, put them in. All right, as far as teamworks go, I do think every deck should have a 7 any and a 6 any teamwork if you haven't done that yet. I also included the 3 combat teamworks, right? Again, if we're talking about speed, notice how each teamwork's additionals down here are all different, which is good. It allows you to use some of your lower power cards and your higher power cards. But I think going with 5 teamworks is plenty because this deck is also, when you update it, going to use a lot of allies, I think. I would consider definitely the 5 brute force, 3 to attack, the 5 intelligence, 3 to attack, and I showed you already in the deck is the 5 energy, 3 to attack. I would absolutely put those 3 in, and then I would consider the possibility of adding the 7 combat 2 attack, just because it gives you so much speed, right? You can do this and then a big special. Do this and then send Billy the Kid's 5 half multi. Do this and then send any of the 8 multis. So I would consider that possibility. I could understand if you cut the 7 because a 2 combat that is on suit isn't really appealing. But for sure, I would at least play those 3. And that brings us to home bases. Well, there's not a ton of home bases that really impact this particular list. If you're keeping the John Carter, remove all damage. No, because it's from current battle too. There might be a Baker Street that you could use with the 1 Zorro special, but I really like the benefit of the round table here. Being able to store your any characters is very, very important. And now granted, you're giving the information to your opponent, but to sit on one of your big any characters until the right moment is super, super important. Now, any characters. What would I run? Well, as far as any characters go, I think that there's like basically the big three, the key three. That's a Merlin's Magic, a Grim Reaper, and a Freya. These are all free 1 per decks. It's a free negate, a free discard 4 cards, and a free avoid that you can put in your deck. And I think they're always useful no matter how many characters are left in your deck. But I would absolutely put these 3 in every single deck that I play, no matter what. Okay. Then we come to our fortification. Fortifications can be played from our home base. I chose this 4 energy, Amaru, just because the deck is very light in energy power cards. I think there are only 2 or 3 total. And none of the specials have energy. So I think keeping this energy on our this is an any home base, on our any characters is going to be really important. So I think you want your mystical energy, which is for your assist, right? There's a 4 energy, make an additional attack, and your 7 energy for your ambush. I think getting these 3 energy symbols into the deck somewhere, really, really, really important. So what are we going to use for our Cataclysm? Well, our Cataclysms, we have a lot of options, right? If you want to be super aggressive, you can run your 10 multi Mountain God, any character. But I would argue that this deck doesn't need it because it already has 2 8 multis in it. I think protecting your character with a Fairy Protection, especially John Carter, right? If he is running your teammate Avoids and everyone is just sending everything at him, this protects him and allows him to use his teammate Avoids on anyone else that they attack. So I think that this is probably the Cataclysm that you want to add to this deck. Next, Disorient Opponent. Very, very good. This basically avoids all attacks from a Teamwork. Teamwork allows your opponent to make 3 attacks, which is really, really brutal in a row to try to defend that. This basically avoids the first attack, so it doesn't hit, and cuts them off. They can't make any follow-ups, which is really, really good. And that's when you play it defensively. What's cool about Disorient Opponent is it can also be played offensively. So offensively, you can just have someone discard a card, discard a Teamwork card that they have placed, which is also really important, right? You see somebody with an 8 energy Teamwork card placed, you can send this at them and say, discard it, right? And that also buys you a turn where you want to see how the battle plays out and keeps you from committing too many resources to it. So I really, really like the versatility of Disorient Opponent, and I think it should be in every deck. And 90% of the decks you're going to play against are going to have Teamworks in them. Even more so if you are playing in a major tournament. I think that'll be like 100% of the decks will have Teamworks in them. Last but not least, and I think this one's really important, right? Because we've been talking about how John Carter is likely going to be the target in this deck to get rid of those teammate avoids. They're very powerful. I think having a legendary escape in the deck is going to be really important. I think that somebody sends something at John Carter, you shift it elsewhere and use one of their 5 defenses or a teammate avoid or something like that. It can keep John Carter alive for 1 more turn if people are trying to target him down. So I think it's really, really important. There are lots of people that say that you need to play Hades in every single deck, or the Gemini, where you can go and get things from your discard pile. Also very good options if you have access to them. But overall, I think this is the core of what you want your any characters to be. And I suppose you don't want to be taking up too much of your deck with them. I've seen people try to work in the Battle Valkyries and things like that. All good cards, but they all fill up your deck even more, right? So you have to see what the versatility is and if you're going to be able to use them. So, so that is my recommendation for deck construction. I do think that this is maybe one of the more powerful decks. I think this one is just tremendously aggressive, and the specials are just super high value and high attack. So I bet you could put this all together for less than 20 bucks to upgrade the deck if you were buying singles. And if you're buying a box, you're likely to get all of this stuff anyways. So anyway, let me know what you think. Would there be changes that you would make? Would you take out the same cards as me? Go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and you'll get notified when I post the other 3 deck upgrades. So that's all from me. This is GM Admiral saying happy venturing, everyone. Take care.